7.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Pownell Select Board meeting, regular meeting, May 12th, 2022, 7 PM. Like to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call. Mike Gardner,
Angie Rowling,
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris.
approval of agenda. Approval of minutes, warrants. We can cross off correspondence, cross off excess weight permits. Maxim Pit P27 off-road GP race mass gathering permit with Paul Goyette and Priscilla Maxon. Town health officer job posting. Pownell cemeteries discussion. June 2nd, 2022 Town of Pownell tax sale, select board member to attend. Utility billing change to late billing notices. Marijuana cultivation and retail. Town hall update. Executive session, which is going to be for personnel and employee review. Public comment, adjourn. I'd like to add Steve Copey to the agenda, and I'd like to add him right after warrants in front of the Maxon Pit off-road race.
so moved.
Any discussion?
Oh,
Sorry, Bob.
well, second.
Any more discussion?
Can we just point out that,
Yep. Jamie, you want to do roll call? Jamie's zooming in.
Hello.
Roll call vote in favor of the agenda. Mike Gardner, yes.
Angie Rowling, yes?
Harry Percy, yes.
Bob Jarvis, yes.
Brian Harris, yes.
So carried. Minutes of April 28th, 2022 Select Board meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Minutes of May 5th, 2022 Special Select Board meeting.
so moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Warrants, payroll, May 6th, 2022, the amount of $10,134.47.
so moved. Mike, you're in this one.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Abstain?
Yes,
Yes.
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 Payroll, May 13th, 2022, $9,790.74.
so moved.
Second it.
Discussions, corrections? Yes?
Yes,
Yes.
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 So carried. Accounts payable, May 6th, 2022, the amount of $20,395.66.
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Yes?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
So carried. Accounts payable, May 13th, 2022, in the amount of $30,609.22.
so moved.
Second.
Discussion, corrections? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 Accounts payable for the new town hall, May 14th, 2022, the amount of $25,191.81.
so moved.
Second it.
Any discussion or corrections? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
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 I'd like to make sure that all the board members please sign the warrants and payroll before you leave tonight. At this time, I'd like to ask Steve Copey. He's on the agenda.
Okay. Right with you.
realize he was leaving the
Oh, yeah.
thing.
That I can do. Okay, this was a friend of mine, passed away a while back. A friend of his made it for him. And he gave it to me quite a few years ago, and it's been in my garage. It's not authentic for the area, it's missing some things. But it's a nice piece, a lot of people seem to like it. I think this would be an ideal place for it to be. It's up to you people if you would like it here. I would like to gift it to the town.
You got that, Paul? Yeah.
Sorry.
No, have one of you guys help you hold it up, Steve.
They can see it.
Perfect.
Bring it up just a little bit.
It's where
It's
we are
the-
standing.
We're standing on it.
Wow.
But it's, yep, church and,
Yeah.
like I said, some of the houses are missing in it. A guy in New York painted it for this friend of mine, and he had it for quite a few years and passed it on to me.
Do you know who's the painter?
Like I said, it's not authentic.
Hold it up just a little bit.
It's got, the main thing in it's got where this building is right now is right here. Right dead center of this picture. So I thought it would be an appropriate place for people to see it.
I think it would be, an absolute,
Access.
awesome addition when we get the schoolhouse put in here and to go into the schoolhouse building, Steve, because it is, that's an old painting, obviously, some people don't know that, but of what it was like in the schoolhouse, that's my opinion.
Yep, I thought this was the right place for it,
Yep.
so if you
Yep.
people want it, it's yours.
Perfect. I
I think it's really nice,
I agree.
Great
Thank you.
gesture.
with gratitude.
For sure.
Absolutely. And when Antique Roadshow says it's worth a lot of money, you can't have it back.
We have that on record, right, Hannah?
I'll leave it out there in the hallway. and you guys-
Or do you want to put it right into the box?
Yeah, when they come through town.
And I'm done, thank you.
Thank you,
Steve.
Nice.
Which, then we get that taken care of, and then we'll, go into the, off-road race mass gathering permit. Give them a minute.
Mike, can I say a few words as far as the last race weekend?
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else went down there. I drove down a couple of times throughout the day, signed in and went around and enjoyed watching the race there a little bit. And there was both times that I traveled down Darkwas, and I even went out 346 and out around that way. I wasn't seeing any hijinks on the roadways or anything else. I said everything I observed down on the track site itself, I mean, everything was clean, good family gathering, and kids having fun. You know? So I just wanted to share that. But that's what I observed, and to my knowledge, at least I personally have not received any negative complaints or emails, any form of messages since that weekend. I wanted to point that out also. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. So that brings us into, sorry, Siri thought I was talking. Brings us into Paul Goyette and Priscilla Maxon, I guess, are here to present your large gathering. Do we want to listen to them, or do we want to ask questions? How do you guys want to handle this? We have the large gathering permit application. Everyone should have a copy of our ordinance. Tara provided us with that, and you should have a copy of the permit application in front of you as well. Has everybody read it?
Yep.
So this one is significantly larger, Paul.
Yep.
Right? Come on over, I guess.
All right.
Priscilla, if you want to, it's fine too. This is a significantly larger event than what you had, on May 1st. Is that correct?
Not significantly larger, but it is gonna be, it's a 2-day event as opposed to the 1-day, event. So it will be, the same amount of people, but just racing 2 days. So roughly about the same amount, if I would guess. We did a count on the campers that had gone in there, and that was 60 campers that showed up because we weren't sure how many were gonna be there. The difference in that would be, I would guess that there's gonna be more campers. So probably upwards of 100 if I had to guess.
Okay.
Might be less, like I said last time, I don't know exactly how many
Yeah, and
people they
some
watch
come in for
for.
Saturday and then leave, and then different ones come in for Sunday, so it's a rotating schedule.
Okay. So everyone has read his permit application. Does anybody have questions on the application or comments? And then how about, and we'll go through the application first.
One note that I want to make, and Mr. Goyette can clarify this is that not all those campers are just campers. Some of them are basically portable garages.
Yes, utility.
Yes,
That's the other piece of it, is they're like called toy haulers. And so I know we talked about a restriction before. I just wanted to put that out for common knowledge.
yeah, he'd be right. So there was 60 vehicles that came in and stayed for the night. Some of them would be a pickup truck with a tent. Some would be a regular trailer, and they make, bedding in their trailers as well. We had the porta potties brought down there as well. So we had all the facilities for those people who don't have a camper and no facilities in them.
Did you have any problems or complaints?
No, we went up and down the road, and Priscilla worked really hard at it because everybody that lives on the street wanted to make sure, like I said before, we didn't realize that there was any issues. So we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any. And if there was, we wanted to address them. And just being honest with everybody, like I was last time, the only issue that we had was some of the campers or some of the people coming out a little bit fast on the road. And I would try to make a repair for that as well. I could do, something along the lines of whether it be speed bumps on the road or have somebody out there patrolling the road just to keep campers or vehicles at a slower pace on the road itself.
You're talking about Dean Road itself?
Dean
Yeah,
Road.
I actually went around and talked to all the neighbors. I got 125 signatures, which is that was only like 2 days effort. Everybody said to me, I asked them specifically, any complaints about the race? No, most of the elderly people said to me, it's awesome. I wish I could actually physically be there. The neighbor right in the back that borders the pit said wish she could physically walk over. Another neighbor looks over, she says, I love seeing the campers, the lights, the kids playing. She said, I love it. And again, the biggest complaint was Dean Road, which we were unaware. Now that we know, we can address it. Whether cones, put security down there, rubber bumpers, like portable rubber bumpers, we can do all that. Because I don't want them driving up fast. I mean, there's a couple families there with young kids. I did talk to everybody, people up Furlong, which borders the other side of it. Everybody was fine. One complaint, which I addressed it to this one individual, and I told her, if you have a problem, then I'll put you up at the remodel for that night. If the noise really bothers you that bad. And she said she might be out of town that weekend.
So they know that this is going to be a night one this time, correct?
Yes, and I addressed the night specifically.
I had one person come to me and complain, but
Were they a neighbor? I mean, who was the complainant? I mean, what was the complaint?
that it's very noisy for old people to listen to all day.
Who was the complainant? I mean, we have a right to know that.
Well, it's not,
I don't know. I don't really know if you have that actual
I mean, was it a
right.
written complaint? Was it a verbal
It
complaint?
was a verbal complaint. It was just.
So let's,
But it was only one person.
we can address that, or how do you guys want to address this? Okay, first your attendance when you came in last time, now you're saying you can have a maximum number of 1,000.
Yeah, we were under that, this time, we were under that, so it could be a maximum of 1,000 people.
Yeah, right. And you're saying you're probably having a minimum of 500, which you had probably over that
Yeah,
last
it was
time.
over 500.
Okay.
And you're following CDC and all that.
The minimum and maximums, I think, aren't they intended to be at one time, right?
Right,
So if people
yeah.
are-
Right, it varies
Schedule.
throughout the day as well.
But so I guess my point is, the large gathering ordinance is 350 or more, so you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone's clear that that's why we need the permit.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right, I don't want to question why, and unfortunately, it hasn't been done in the past, and it probably should have been. So, not that anybody's trying to give you a hard time, we're just trying to cross Ts and dot Is.
Yep.
That's it. I have a couple of questions. One concern that I do have, is the night race going to 11 PM? I'm definitely, concerned with going to 11 o'clock at night. Not just for the neighbors, but for general population. And I know that it's only one night. And I get that part of it. But I also get the part that it goes all day long on Saturday and it goes all day long on Sunday.
8 to 3, right?
Well, eight to 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday is 8 to
8 to 4.
on Sunday, and Saturday would be
2 to 11.
2 to 11.
So can I just ask a quick question? At 11 o'clock, it's not like it's all over with. People still have to pack up and there's still noise probably for another good hour, correct?
I would say yes, but they're not running the motorcycles
Yeah,
no
it's
more.
not no motorcycle noise.
It's just,
It's just noise.
Right.
yeah, it's people packing up their campers or shutting down for the night, yeah.
So my point is I'd like to see that 11 o'clock time changed. That's just my opinion. I'd really like to see it at 9, but there's probably a little.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be a night race.
Exactly. So
It would be a day race and
they race at night
At dusk.
with lights at dusk. So
Right.
I get that part.
Yep.
Okay, I totally understand it. I do think that 11 o'clock is asking a lot of the residents. I know even where I live, I could hear it last year, like it was in my backyard. Not that it totally bothered me, but
Yeah.
I
you could hear it. Yeah.
I could hear it and I live quite a ways away. It does echo.
What's the noise ordinance? Is it 10?
Yes, that's my question.
I think it is 10.
It's 10.
And I think the noise ordinance is 10 o'clock. So,
May I interject? Okay, so this race is held at a dead-end road at a confined location where they're not traveling from South Mason Hill Road to County Road, back and forth. So it's self-contained. I mean, that should count for something. And I did go around and talk to the neighbors, and the immediate neighbors in their backyard are not complaining.
Bob?
I personally don't have the same issue. I think 11 would be fine. I mean, it's a once a year race. And it seems to have been pretty successful. And I would hesitate to do anything that's going to bring down its success.
Scott just brought up a very good point. Excuse me for a second. Scott brought up a good point at the later races at the night race. It's the lowest amount of people that race are at that hours as well. So it's not, the busiest would be at the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock point would be the busiest time. So that the later race during the evening is the smallest amount of people because the pros go out and there's usually
Only
8
a
to 10.
select number of people put lights on their bikes anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Not all the racers have lights on their bikes and they only come to watch the night race.
Right,
Wait
so-
the next day.
The racers that are on Sunday, not all those race on Saturday. There's only so many people want to ride at night. It's exciting, it's something different, which is why I brought Rebecca here. Thank you for coming, Rebecca, or asked her to come. We went backwards and looked at all the different injuries that we've had. We've been here, this will be my 11th race, being here with 2-day events and so forth. And out of all those events, we've had 3 transports the entire time. The staff, you know, with the medical crew that we have is absolutely amazing. You know, I always have to thank them because they do just an unreal
We
job.
couldn't do it without them.
Yep, yeah, so, and that's where we're at now, with the donations to the
Yeah,
town
it's
as well.
contributed, how much have you contributed over the years?
Yeah, over $8,000 to the
To the
town
town,
as well.
so I would think that'd be substantial to the small town rescue squad.
I live right over on Snake Hill Road and it does not bother me. Just because of where I am around the corner, you barely hear it.
Yeah, and
So-
people on furlong, I went every angle and tried to, because I want to address if there is a problem. And like I said, I heard about the speed from a lot of those neighbors, and I get
Yeah.
that. I wouldn't have any speed by my house.
Okay.
I guess the other point would be that there isn't a whole lot of nighttime hours, right? It doesn't get dark till 9, so they've only got
2 hours.
There's 2 hours.
to be able to do night racing.
Yeah, no, it's just a concern that was brought to me and I'm bringing it up and,
Yep.
you know,
Valid concern.
Yeah, we try to run the children, the youth class is at 8 o'clock. That way there, the youth class isn't running at night. That's one of the things the safety side of it, I don't want the kids out in the woods in the dark at night. Not that it's that far out, but it's just something that I try to pay attention to. It's all about the children. You show them, you know,
Okay.
show them how they can grow up doing something and they carry it for a lifetime. And that's where we all started from at some point.
you said your water supply comes from a ground well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Has that been tested for public consumption?
not that I know of.
I don't know if that presents a problem for us.
No, nobody drinks the water. That's just I thought you were saying the well water, if there's any kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
Right.
I mean, on the permit application, the water supply is from a ground well.
Okay, so then. that
So
would only
if, so
be
if there's,
for well,
so if there's
that's-
public water, if there's consumption from that
There's no
well water,
consumption.
Yeah, there's no.
So then I-
consumption.
then who becomes liable if we give a permit that,
Right, so then there's no water supplied. Water
Yeah, there's
is,
no water supply, they bring in their own water. Campers are self-contained,
right,
and then the food truck.
right. So that, you know, these are just questions, that's all, I just have to make sure, please don't think I'm trying to shoot this down, okay, because I'm not. I just have to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. And unfortunately, I'm not sure it has been. Have you reached out to the sheriff's department?
yes, the sheriff's department has not returned the phone
Yes, I
call.
called Joel twice.
Because I talked to Joel tonight.
Yeah, but no return, and
After we're done.
I don't know if maybe, I know they still have a contract with the town. So whether maybe you may have to request that he patrol that road, because he probably won't listen to me. I don't know.
No, you can hire him. I reached out to Joel tonight on my way here. You can hire Joel, or not Joel, sorry. You can hire the sheriff's department,
Okay.
Yep,
okay? His recommendation is 4 deputies with the number of people that you're saying are gonna be
So
there.
you're saying patrol the whole property, not just the road?
And that's right, they'll have 2, his recommendation was 2 foot patrol and 2 road patrol, which should take care of all the road problems on Dean Road. Those problems should go away. On Dean Road.
Mike, Jim Costas has his hand up, but should we wait until we're done discussing and then you can open for public comment? Okay,
Public comments at the end. At this time, we may change that, but not right now.
okay.
So that was just, you know, from Joel. And I don't have another contact through the sheriff's department. That's why I went to Joel and asked him. Okay? So his recommendation was to have 4 deputies there Saturday and Sunday. When your porta potties, and I assume, I'm not in the porta potty business, and when they're telling you.
me neither, that's why I called. Yep.
Right, and they're telling you that 10 is gonna suffice what you need.
Yep,
Okay. And then your private security is, That you're.
I hire them,
And
yep.
you hire them and that's fine. Do you have any objection to the 4 deputies?
I do not have any
Oh, okay.
objections. To me, it seems a little bit
Excess.
excessive, but
I'm,
it's just my opinion.
It's just a recommendation, it's not a requirement.
well, we can put,
Yep.
right, we can put that. We can put that on and say, you have to have 4 deputies there. But I don't want to do that, Scott. I'd rather come in here and say, look at Sheriff's Department's recommended 4 guys. Now, the people who are racing bikes and coming in probably aren't the type that are gonna give the Sheriff's Department or the deputies a hard time.
Right.
But
Because they want to be able to have the race. And I think
But there's always that potential, right? So he's looking out for the safety of his officers is what is the discussion that we had as much as anything else.
It's geared.
I, just my side, but I can see the patrol for the street. I go to, I don't know how many events a year. I've never, Southwick's the only one I've ever seen patrol at.
And that's because.
Yeah.
Just, not saying they don't need, but it's a pretty family.
How many private?
I've never really seen fights.
And we're talking.
And I can tell, this time I handed out flyers, which Jamie can attest to. He got a copy of the flyer and I was telling people that they're, once they go in, they're not going back and forth on Dean Road on ATVs and motorcycles. And I know that just by me handing out a flyer. I said, because I told the parents, I said, we catch the kids out on the road, they're disqualified from the race, whether they paid for the transponder, registration, or they escorted off the property. And I think that helps just by handing out flyers.
Yeah, so with my security, I also have, which James is my rider rep. I have, and that's why he's here tonight as well. I have a rep that if there's any issues at all, I'm not the last say. He's always there for me. Whenever there's, even if it's, oh, I got 3rd place and you really got 5th place, but they go through, no matter what it is, he's my not my last resort, but he's the guy who's always there for me. So James is just amazing and he's always doing a great job. So he helps me patrol the area along with the rest of my team as well. And as anybody's seen me at night, I'm usually one of the last people ever to go to bed because I stay up and I make sure
And I do
everything
the same
is.
thing.
Yeah.
So what I might suggest is, I know you've already reached out to him, but I would think that a conversation with Joel might actually raise his confidence level and lower his recommendation.
Yeah.
But
It just seems like a lot of
possibility.
people, a lot of police officers, I mean, we're going Unadilla this weekend, there'll be 6,000 people there. You won't see a cop all weekend.
They don't.
That, you know, Paul's events are tiny compared to what most of us race every other weekend that falls off. And like John said, Southwick is a couple times, very few issues. You know, it's a very tight-knit community, all of us, you know. We got tens of thousands of dollars of motorcycles and generators, and it's not a lot, it's.
Yeah, we've had
You
no
know,
theft, we've had no drug overdoses, we had no
The
drug.
issues come from outside people that come there to party sometimes, but, you know, most of us are in bed by 10,
Right.
11, and.
Right, because they
Get
gotta
up
go
at
to race.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I've never.
I'm not against the law enforcement, but being there before seems like a big expense for
A small event.
a small event.
I mean, I certainly can get somebody to be on the road. You can get somebody to wander around inside the pit. You know, I think we can handle that, or let us be given the chance to handle that on our own, because like I said, just by handing out flyers, I think I eliminated a lot, just for this one day race.
Years you've been there, how many times has the sheriff's department?
Exactly, they've
been
never been called,
Right.
since 2017, the sheriffs have never been called to the property for a drug overdose, or speeding, or fighting, or stealing, nothing. And there's very minimal trash even when they leave, I can't believe it. That first event, I said, wow. The people take what they bring in, they take out.
It's a family event, you know, it's, like I said before, it's really geared towards the children. And if you give the kids something to do now, you give them a gift for a lifetime. That's how I see it. So anyways, I'm sorry.
No, that's why we're here. We're here for conversation.
Yep.
You know, that's the only bad thing that's that anybody could say is not saying anything at all, okay? If you get an idea, throw it out there. That's how I operate. You know, just because I bring something up doesn't mean that's how I feel. It's just, you know, concerns and things that, trying to do the research on different things and, you know, getting suggestions and going back and forth. And I think Bob probably has a good point, you know, maybe your conversation with Joel would,
Increase his confidence level.
increase his confidence level a little bit and he can say, okay, you know, two sheriffs are gonna be fine. And I think, just getting to your point, Priscilla, if there's somebody that's out there on the road, doing something foolish on the road, if, you know, John, is that your name?
James.
James, sorry. I apologize. If James was to go out and say to somebody on the road, hey, cut it out, you know, whatever's going on, he's not a law enforcement officer. I understand you can pull the transponder and whatever else is going on, and you guys are gonna police that person from there on in. I have total confidence that that person's not coming back and gonna race at your events, right? And I don't care if it's Scott or, you know, Chad or whoever it is, they're not coming back to race at your events. I get that. But at that moment, that's where I worry
No,
about.
and I absolutely, you know, I don't think it's nice to have a presence for sure.
Yeah.
Because, like I said,
Yeah,
us that are there paying to do this stuff, I'm not worried about it.
No,
You know,
that's
outside
right.
people, it's a whole other story, and.
right. That's what I'm worried
At
about.
least one is a good presence to have, you know, whether they're sitting right in the entrance, just if they park a cruiser there, no one's in it.
Yeah.
You think they're there, you know what I mean? It's
No, you're right. You're right.
it's not a bad presence to have, I'm sure, you know, they're not gonna charge us $25 an hour. You know, you're talking $400 an hour for these guys to be there for 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that much, but you're right. You're right. It's definitely an expense and I get that part of it.
And for a small organization that really is making very little, you know, I don't know, you know what I mean? It just, if Paul breaks even at the end of the year, good for him. You know, he puts a lot of time into these
Yeah,
events.
no,
You know, and we all came from another series that we broke away from because of the pure size of it.
Hmm.
You know, so it was nice to downsize and we can have fun again.
Right. No, I'm totally about that. So that's something, you know, I think we definitely should have, you know, someone from the sheriff's department, you know, give us a recommendation. You know, like I said, I was in conversation, I umpired a JV softball game tonight. I got done at 6:30 and it was on my way here, okay? The conversation I had with him. I'll be honest with you, it was nothing that was, you know, so that's just where the conversation went. So it was pretty quick. And with not a lot of information.
Of course.
You know, it was, I was going off the permit that we had the potential for 1,000 people. Now you're saying there's probably not gonna be 1,000, more than likely there's not gonna be 1,000 at one time. So maybe he's gonna knock that recommendation down to 2. Or maybe he's gonna say that one person there. I would suspect that they would want 2, just for safety for his deputies. Just, I don't know that. I'm just saying that. You know, that's mine.
And that size crowd and other situations might need that. I was just speaking up to say, like, most of these are friendly.
No, I
might go to, same thing.
You don't know, I think, you know, I'm sure they are, but what about the uncle, your kid's uncle or cousins or whatever that came in and Scott's boy ran yours off the trail? Oh, man, you know, it could get, you guys that are racing every single week together, I don't think that's a problem at all. Okay, because I've been involved.
That's who shows up at the races though too, so it's, yeah.
Somebody's up visiting from Virginia or, you know, who knows where, you know, and I'm being hypothetical, obviously. But I think what I'm also looking at for all of you guys, not just Paul and Priscilla, is I'm looking at, long-term. I don't want somebody to come back and say next year, well, look what happened last year because there wasn't a sheriff there or whatever. Okay, so and I get James's point. It's an expensive thing, But at the end of the day, if that sheriff is there and they can curb a potential problem right then, right there, then next year when it comes back, when you guys come back, because you have to do this again, you know, but it's pretty much bring your paperwork in, we talk about it, and we send you down the road with a signed piece of paper. Okay, so I'm looking at long-term, you know, so that we don't have to go through this kind of a process every time. You can send in the permit, Priscilla or you or whoever can send in the permit. Okay, we talked about it on whatever, the date, May 12th, 2022. This is what it is. Good, we're good to go. You know, and that's kind of how I'm looking at it, is long-term, you know. Anybody else have anything? I know that, you know, I know that sure, the Pound Rescue can definitely use money. I know that for sure on that.
I would just like to state, just for the last thing, I know it's already been said, but Paul's had a clean record with the town.
No, for sure.
So, I mean, he's been here many times, there's been multiple night races, he's had a clean record. I just don't, I'd like to see this not made into a big deal, because I don't really think it is.
And I'd rather get.
Well, I don't think we're trying to make it a big deal.
No, I don't mean that in that way, I just
No,
don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I just think if you guys were to attend the race, you would see it's really family oriented.
And Jamie said that.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I saw Jamie there, I saw him there a couple times.
So my point with doing it this way, Scott.
Yeah.
Is if someone were to come into the town with some other type of large gathering other than a motorcycle race that you guys are doing, okay? And they're gonna say to us as the select board, well, you didn't make them come get a large gathering permit. Why are you making us? Type of thing, okay? And that's where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time. I just want to make sure that we're doing things fair and equitable for everybody. You know, somebody comes in here that wants to throw on a big concert type of, why do we have to get a permit? Why didn't you guys
Yeah,
have
the
to get
permit's
one?
understandable, but again, we're talking with security, which that's gonna take away from the rescue squad if we have to pay for security. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think, like I said, my opinion is, you know, long-term, I just think it's a better situation. So.
Will that hamper you guys in the future, being at your sports events? So you have a Little League softball tournament, whatever it is, if you had a Little League softball tournament, would that make it that you guys would have to have a sheriff on point there, because you never know when the drunk uncle's gonna show up?
I would definitely, at a softball tournament, because I used to play in those, okay? I would say it's probably more important there with less people than it is at a motorcycle race, okay? So, you know, the short answer would be yes. You know, the long answer is there 350 people or more there at one time? You know, there's.
I was just asking a question.
No, I know.
Can I share my opinion?
Absolutely.
Do we have police presence at the fair? The town fair?
No.
True.
I think if.
I don't know if it's required.
Do you have a large gathering permit?
We're not
Required.
we don't have
Town
to.
event, that's not.
We don't have to for a town event. That's in the ordinance.
The government always exempts itself from.
Yeah.
I know my opinion doesn't really matter, but if we say that he has to speak with Joel and base it on Joel's recommendation rather than requiring it as part of the permit.
Oh, I think that's where I was going, Tara. Yeah, you know, I think that's where I was going with that, so I apologize if I missed. You know, Joel's recommendation at first was 4, but then I liked Bob's idea of having a discussion with Joel and then seeing where we went from there. You know, I think that was a better idea.
You guys certainly had thought about security, you thought about it being orderly, you've got a lot of processes in place, and Joel probably hasn't heard that.
Right.
And when he made the recommendation. So that's where I think that.
I look like I roll the dice all the time, but no.
Balance all
We
this.
might recommend just a drive-through
Right.
once an hour or
That would be fine.
something like that.
The state
You know, it
police
might be-
have done drive-throughs before. 2 years ago, they drove
Actually,
through
they
with the
did.
night race.
Yeah.
Yep, they did. That's right. They were outside the gate.
Yeah.
I
Instead
actually, I
of
stopped
watching the
him.
race is what they were doing. They
I
were
asked if
watching
there
the
was any
race.
issues, and he
Okay,
said,
this
no,
is
I'm
his
just checking them out.
11th race and there hasn't ever been a problem where we've needed their presence. And if we do, then we call.
Right, then, yeah, because I told them when they came in today, I said, you go on the road, it's gonna stop us from having this race. You stay off of Dean Road with your ATVs and motorcycles. Kid wanted to go down and go fishing. I was standing there on the road. He says, I'm just going fishing. I said, you're walking. You're not taking your motorcycle.
Another suggestion might be, when you or we talk to Joel, ask him for a minimum and maximum. Because then we here can say that we're in favor of going forward with it if we adhere to whatever Joel's, or whatever the sheriff's office minimum recommendation is.
Right, and I'm not sure it would come from him at this point, but he's our contact person and he's the person I'd go
Sure,
to.
it's just right.
Mm.
Looking for a
At this point.
recommendation.
And I think, me as a board member, I'd be comfortable with that. And he may say, well, like you said, every 2 hours or whatever it is, or one deputy for each day or whatever his recommendation, or let me rephrase that, whatever the sheriff's department recommendation would be, I'd be comfortable with that.
But
Okay.
the other thing is these guys gotta reach out and actually meet with the sheriff's department, explain the type of security they're doing. Therefore, they have a total understanding of what is needed. I don't think that's actually happened. They've called, but they haven't got a call back. So I recommend you guys call the sheriff's department itself and leave a message there. That way you can truly explain your situation, and that would shed some information of how he gauges the numbers that he recommends.
Yeah, no, I think me and Paul will write up a procedure, what we have in place now and present that to whoever down there. I don't know who's in charge anymore, but.
So what I'll do is, Jamie's right. You should call the sheriff's department direct, whatever, I think it's 4,900 or whatever the number is. Okay? Tomorrow during business hours. All right? Call the sheriff's department direct. I'll make a phone call to Joel to make sure that it gets processed.
Okay.
So that it doesn't sit on a desk someplace for an extended period of time.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
I'll make sure that Joel, make sure that the right person sees the question. Request or whatever, okay? I'll do that for you tomorrow. All right? And then I'm prepared. All of the questions that I had, you guys have answered sufficiently to me. I'm prepared to sign the permit based on the sheriff's department recommendation for security, if you guys are comfortable with that. Is that agreeable? And I think, James, you guys write up your thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the sheriff's.
I live in Woodford.
Yeah, I'm sure the sheriff's department recommendations gonna. Yeah.
I'll have that all written up tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure the sheriff's department recommendations probably get a change, like Bob said, once they find out what you guys do have in place.
Right.
And like I said, we're just going off pure numbers and what's going on, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
It's a little different than when you guys had the concert,
Yeah, no, it's totally
you got
different.
1,000 21-year-old drinking and partying. We got maybe 800 people, but 450 of them are kids.
Yeah, no, I get that part.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. So that's, that's something that,
And I will say that I worked at the last race as stewards, and we were so busy and we didn't sell any beer. It was all water and food.
Yeah, so it does bring in revenue for stewards,
It does.
Winchester, Dwyer's.
I had a hard time keeping up.
That's a good thing. It brought some business to town.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not against it. I just want to make sure, like I said, that for future events, other than this, that we're all on the same page.
Definitely.
So, I'll entertain a motion to sign this large gathering permit as presented, based on the sheriff's department recommendation for security.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, comments?
Where do I sign?
Roll call.
Roll call, sorry, I drew a blank.
I know you did.
Yep. I drew a blank.
Angie, I.
Aye.
Bob, aye.
Brian, I.
Mike, aye. So, once Joel gets that
Yeah.
recommendation,
So my last
he'll get it back
question
to
would be
you
then is, what is the hours?
As you
as requested,
requested.
as your permit is requested. We didn't change your
Make sure I
permit.
don't want.
So I'll just get something from the sheriff department, and I'll drop a copy off to this office.
Yeah, you
So
can.
you have to run
Yep.
the permit.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep, drop it off to Tara or Hannah.
All that you used for the other stuff you.
Yep, perfect, thank you.
Or drop.
All right, and then, what, you're, like 3 weeks away?
Yeah, it's.
June 4th and 5th.
June 4th and 5th, yep.
Yeah, so we should have plenty of time to make sure you get everything all squared away. Okay?
Will that be approved at a town meeting? Will I have to be here? Do you
No,
just
no,
want-
it's approved now.
It's approved now.
They're,
Pending the sheriff's recommendation. You're good to go.
Flyers or advertising material, I actually have to post the permit online, so I rather do it in form of a flyer that kind of looks better than this.
Sure.
So if you can send it to me.
Yeah, if you can email that. Yeah, because we have to, once we sign this permit, I don't think we have to sign it, or
48 hours.
once we sign it,
Okay.
right? Not 48 hours from tonight.
Well, if you're.
We're gonna sign it tonight. We okayed it.
We're going to approve it upon the sheriff's department recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, you just said it was approved.
But it's upon the sheriff's department
We
recommendation.
voted on it, so we wouldn't have to vote on it again.
Right.
The contingency that you meet the minimum requirement, from the sheriff's department.
Right.
And I think once you talk to Joe, it'll be, yeah.
No, I do, I think you have a great process, I just, like I said, my conversation with him was based solely on numbers, not on 800 people, but 450 of them are kids.
Right.
Okay, that was never in the conversation at all, it was based solely on numbers.
Changes a lot of things.
It does.
No, it changes a lot of the dynamics, and I really and truly believe that they'll knock that way down. Okay, I do, I'll be surprised if they don't. And the thing about it is, we would have a meeting, what's the night, it's a meeting the 26th. So worst case scenario, you'd have to come back the 26th to another meeting if something was haywire and we could rehash it out. Okay?
Yeah,
If something was, if you didn't agree with something, I guess, is what,
sure.
but I don't think
I
that's
mean,
gonna be a
other than
problem.
that, having the sheriff's, I'll go with the sheriff's department, we'll figure that out.
But
I just want to say thank you to all the
Yes,
people
thank
in
you.
town. I live in Westfield, Mass, so
Yeah.
driving up here and being friends with these people that come here, this is how all the races go.
listen, I know,
If they're all here, they have my back no matter what.
when I look around the room, okay, I know them all, right, Chad?
But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. for
Yeah,
being
thank
here.
you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Town.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Clear the room right now, why don't you?
All right, you guys have a
Thank
good
you.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have somebody with a handout.
No, I told him.
Oh,
Yeah, we did tell.
I told him.
Town health officer job posting.
Did everybody see it?
Yep.
And that looked good.
Yes, it did.
You agree with the date of the 25th, and then we can discuss it in an executive on the 26th.
Good, perfect timing.
Perfect.
Okay. So I guess I need to do that. Okay, Matt?
Pownell Cemeteries discussion.
So we were, as Mike knows, we met with the Pownell Cemetery, Oak Hill Cemetery, whatever you know it as. And they have no more members left to their association, so they are basically abandoning it. However, they are abandoning it with a balance in their bank, about 10 grand. So as a select board, if there is no association, it's kind of your duty to oversee the cemeteries in town. Especially when it's abandoned, there is nobody else to take care of it. So in my research, what I found is there is not a lot of oversight for our cemeteries in town as a whole. There's a couple different people handling it right now. And what I guess I want to ask the board to do is not only to accept the Oak Hill Cemetery, but to sort of put me in charge of organizing cemetery oversight, see if we can become a part of the Vermont Cemetery Association, which will open us up to more funding to take care of the cemeteries. We're also going to be running out of actual cemetery space to bury more people,
I
so.
was gonna say,
I was just gonna ask that
I
question.
thought Oak Hill was already all sold out.
It's sold out, right?
It's close to being, if.
It's not sold out according
Well, I
to the
know
records.
the last 10 years or so, because we run into it with our family burials where they're double booking plots.
Right, so I think it's essential that we address the situation because I would like to be buried in Pownell. And I know a lot of other people would like to be buried in Pownell and there currently isn't an option. Soon will not be an option for that.
So in our meeting with, what board members they have left right now, Tara and I met with them, one morning about a month ago. And in their plan that they have at Oak Hill right now with their, basically $10,000, their plan was, and I think we should honor that plan because I think they've done a really good job, was to have a bunch of stone repair work done in that cemetery. They've already contacted, they haven't contracted, they've contacted someone to come in and repair a significant number of the stones with the money that they have left in their association. And I think we should honor that rather than assume that money. Which brings us to the maintenance part of it. And I have to abstain from this, but my opinion would be if the town takes this over, that our contracted person that does our own cemeteries now, the ball fields and whatever else, just take that cemetery as well. He already does it for Oak Hill Cemetery
Okay,
anyway.
that was gonna be my question. Can he handle the workload?
Do you happen to know what he charges Oak Hill?
It's 400 a week.
It's 400 a week?
Yep, I did not know that.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Do they pay him week by week or have they paid him for the season?
Weekly, I think. They were trying to avoid not paying him this year. But they have paid him a couple of weeks now.
Okay.
yeah. So I know he has started work down there for the spring cleanup and whatever else, because there was a bunch of trees down and some other things, so. I do know that he has started work down there.
Well, the reason I'm asking is you say there's $10,000 in their account. If they had already prepaid him for the year, then I would say I would be fine with using that money toward the stone repair. But if they haven't, and we're gonna assume the extra cost, we should just use that $10,000 for this year to pay for the ongoing maintenance. And then next year, we're gonna have to increase the budget for it.
We're gonna
account for it.
There is no cemetery budget, actually, but there's a mowing.
Okay,
So yeah, that's what I mean. There's sort of a gap in the system where Ellen has the Jackson Cross Cemetery. Julie has one of the other ones and she has the recording system, but there's been no real oversight to it. You know, there's been nobody managing it. I guess.
How many cemeteries do we take care of? 3?
No, we take care of Indian Massacre.
But that has an association still.
It does?
Yes, but there aren't many members left. That's soon to be.
But we take care of that. We pay the mowing and maintenance. Indian Massacre, Gardner Cemetery on Mount Anthony Road.
Yeah.
The Center Cemetery right here. Jackson Cross Road.
Love it.
The Lovett Cemetery at the racetrack. And
We pretty much take care of them all, except for Oak Hill.
Except for Oak Hill.
I don't know if we do the one on Carpenter Hill. I don't think we do that one.
We're not concerned with like small like privately owned, right?
No.
No.
Private property.
No, because I actually, my family has a cemetery now, at the farm, so.
Right, and we wouldn't be concerned if like a church had their own, they would, be the association for that cemetery.
Yeah, I think we need to figure out how much this is gonna cost. I mean, I think we have to do it.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Cemetery. Let's see what we can do to keep the cost low, because it is ongoing. 400 a week sounded like a lot.
I went through that cemetery the day that we went and met with, we were gonna meet at the cemetery, but I gotta tell you, it was pretty cold and the wind was howling down there, and Sarah and Kenny Odell, and I decided, you know what, no, it's a lot warmer inside the firehouse down by the post office, so we met inside the Pownell Firehouse. I drove through that cemetery. I'm also a person who thinks that our cemeteries are extremely important. But when you drive through that cemetery, and I think you probably do it in every one actually in town, there's a lot of old town names in that cemetery down there. There's a lot of them.
And there's a lack of upkeep, grave sites, even in the cemetery down here, you know, there's a lot of really
Old worn stones that are toppled.
And, you know, if we were part of an association in Vermont, we could access different funding to upkeep those cemeteries.
So I'm all for that. I think putting you in charge of that is a really good idea. And then with the mindset of where can we get funding, where can we, how can we keep our costs low? Even if we can get funding, we still want to keep
Definitely.
that cost low.
Is the added duties gonna be too much on you? Cause I don't wanna become too overloaded.
No, the cemetery was, something that I wanted to take on actually, so.
Okay.
You guys probably don't know this answer. You don't know how many weeks. It's hard to tell how many weeks we would mow.
It's usually,
they
second
go
week
to-
in May, I thought. You know, they started earlier than that. May,
Usually it's like I think it's the last weekend in April, isn't it?
yeah, it's right around there, May 1st, last weekend.
Because he mowed the ball field before our opening day, and our opening day was the 30th.
I think
I think it's usually Memorial Day weekend before, then Labor Day weekend, right?
This
Usually.
contract specifically states what the mowing season.
So I do know that last year, when he billed us, there were weeks when he didn't bill certain cemeteries or, certain town mowings because the grass was burning and he didn't actually mow them.
Correct.
So in order to go with to say it's $400 a week, well, that when he mows, it probably is. But there's weeks when he doesn't mow because of weather conditions, meaning he doesn't. I know Jackson Crossroad, there was 2 or 3 weeks last year at least that he didn't mow because the grass was burning like crazy out there.
Right, but I think for mowing season, I'm sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
I was gonna say, usually towards the end of July or to the middle of August is when we have our high temp and less rain area, and that's when the grass slows down and gets to that condition. So, I mean, even if the vet home, sometimes we'll go 3 weeks without mowing.
Yeah.
Right, but I would say that the mowing is probably much more predictable than things like plowing. So,
Well, we don't do anything winter maintenance on them, obviously, the cemeteries, but.
well, right, but point being is year over year, it should be fairly consistent with maybe 1 or 2 mowings off. I mean, it's not gonna be, it's nowhere near as variable as plowing.
A 6 month mowing at $400 a week, 24 weeks is $9,600. You know.
That Tara will find somewhere else.
I will try.
Well, I think we need to, I think it's something that's been, and I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on this because Angie wants to get out of here tonight. And so do I.
Blame me.
Well, that's because you're sitting next to me tonight and I always go left instead of right.
Okay.
All right, just remember that.
Can't blame me, cause I'm fine staying till 11.
I think our cemeteries have been neglected in the town of Pownell for a long time, other than mowing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they just need, And I think it's a huge part of our history. And I think Tara is willing to take this task on. And I think we're all in agreement with that. I think, like I said, I'd still like to have them try to maintain those stones down there and we just take on the cemetery maintenance and move forward. I know it's not in our budget. But I just think it's something that needs to be done.
I'll
I
make a
agree.
motion to have, Sarah take on the cemeteries and follow up with the research and report back to the board.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Find us the money.
Okay.
Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. So carried. Now I'll entertain a motion that we take on the Old Kill Cemetery. The town of Pownell.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion? Questions?
What do you want me to do with their money for now? Are you gonna make them?
Do they have a rough idea if they've contacted somebody already? They must have a rough idea what they're gonna spend.
Yes, and it was,
Over their budget there.
they have, but they were gonna contact him if you so choose and say, we have this amount, what can you do for this amount?
For the stone maintenance.
For the stone maintenance, yes.
What their hope was, and I don't know if it is possible, their hope was they're gonna say to the person that they've already contacted, we need our stone maintenance done, this is what we have, can you do it? And they were hoping that a significant number of the stones and problems were gonna be taken care of with that amount of money. That's what they were thinking that was gonna happen. So I guess we can amend the motion about the money. Because we didn't discuss that, what they have in their bank account.
My personal opinion is I think they should try to fix as many stones as possible with the 10,000.
It's 10 and change, it was like 10,600.
10,436.22.
I knew there was a 6.
They paid, yeah, they had to pay Tristan, so.
So,
And that'd be less work that we would have to do down the road.
Right.
and they, that was their plan. And,
And then hopefully we can find some more money.
so is that an amendment to the motion that the motion is to take on Old Kill Cemetery with the money that they have in their bank account earmarked for stone repair?
Yes.
Do I have a second to that amendment?
Second.
Any more discussion? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you. June 2nd, Town of Pownell Tax Sales Select Board member to attend. Anybody available that day?
What time is it?
10 a.m. So Ellen said that the reason someone should attend is that in the past, if a property does not sell, the town purchases it, and in the past, we have not lost money. And then that's why she said it's important to have a select board member there.
I can-
to oversee.
I can be there in a second. Just remind me that morning.
There's a field trip.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. It's so crazy. I can do it in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Unless you can, Jamie, that's totally fine with me too, but I know
Well,
your work schedule,
I could probably get, it's far enough out, I get the day off.
Are we allowed to send a representative other than a select board member? Like if one of us couldn't attend, could we authorize Tara or Hannah to act on our behalf?
I don't know, Brian, that's a good question.
Awesome.
I don't know, that's a great question.
That is a good question. I don't-
Yeah, we could look into that. But at this point, I think, either Jamie or I'll definitely, one of us will be there.
And you can be there on a personal level, just so you know, and a select board member level. You just have to specify who you're voting, if you're, or who you're.
So if you want
If you're
to.
bidding, if you're bidding for your personal or you're bidding for the town, yeah.
Right, you just have to announce it ahead of time
Right.
to the attorney that's on scene. are on site.
Okay. That's good information.
I've done a few of them already, so.
Okay.
12, utility billing change to late billing notices.
So this might be better with Darcy, but I'm not sure because we handle the billing for the utility. And what's happening is we send the notice when it's due. And then the second month when it's late, they get another notice. And it's a lot of postage and a lot of printing. The bills are due the same month every year for the last 11 years. Do you think the late notices are necessary? Because when they get their next bill, say they didn't pay and the next quarter came, that interest and that late penalty
Is on their new
that-
bill.
On the new bill.
Yeah.
So it's monthly billing, is that correct?
It's quarterly billing.
Quarterly.
But
Okay.
the first month of the quarter, we send out that bill, and then the second month, we're sending another whole notice, and we use special color paper and, it's kind of, to me, it seems a little unnecessary. It seems like a waste of postage and,
So if the quarter is in June, let's just say, all right, ends in June, or let's go July because that would be one, right? What are our quarters?
put me on the spot.
Whatever, no, it's fine, it's fine, doesn't matter,
March.
doesn't matter. So a bill goes out in March,
Yeah.
and then if they don't pay, then another bill, late notice goes out to the people who don't pay in April. And that's where you're saying we shouldn't, just so everyone's clear, I'm clear on what you're saying.
Right.
That, so that.
Second notice.
It's a second notice, it's a late notice. And,
That literally tells them they owe like $1.
it doesn't cover, so I guess my thing, I really like that idea, and I don't know if there's a way to track this. My only suggestion would be to, a new user first time. So if you were to come in and buy a piece of property in February, you're gonna get a sewer bill in March. They may not be aware of what's going on, so then you send that new user a late notice in April. Okay, but somebody who's been here for 30 years,
Right.
10 years on the sewer, I don't think sending them that late notice would be
So,
They know
yeah.
that they owe it. I mean,
right. But a new user, we gotta give them the benefit of the doubt, I think.
yeah, that's completely reasonable to send them notice.
You said the late notice is only $1 for the fee?
So
It should at least cover the cost of processing it.
So it's
No,
not, that's
I
why I said it's like a total, that we're really.
Yeah, so she's saying it's a huge waste of money, and I agree with that.
And time,
No, well, time is money.
right.
Time is money.
Can I make a motion to get rid of the late charge billing except for a new user? And then I would only do it once.
Only once. That's
And
right.
after that,
Is that feasible for you guys to do the billing? Is that something that's not gonna create a huge
No,
headache and
I already-
time-consuming thing for you?
I spoke with, our treasurer and, yeah, we're good to go.
Okay.
So, pardon my ignorance on this, but, I got a couple of questions. So we do charge, we do or don't charge a late fee?
We charge interest penalty.
So it's only the
It's about
interest?
it's a 1% interest.
yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot at all. It's.
Okay, so it's 1% interest for being late, but it costs us whatever to send out the late notice. Can't we add the cost of postage to the late fee?
That was my thought, yeah.
I mean, just, and then they can get the notification.
Like it's a 1%
It's also-
fee plus processing.
But when you can send out the second quarter, say you owe, what is it, $114?
Something like that, yeah.
It's $114 and you don't pay and it's a late charge. When they send out the second quarter, it's $228 plus $1 late charge.
Yep.
Okay, so you're just sending out a late charge with $114 with $1 added to it, so they owe $115. And then they get it again at the second quarter that they have a late amount due of $115 plus their new charge, which is, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So if we've got somebody new on it and they're late, they'll get a notice. But once they get that first notice, then it just rolls into their next bill, their next
Right.
quarterly bill.
Correct.
That makes perfect.
That's just saving so much on their time and
Yep.
postage.
Oh, that's true. It's not just the
Yeah, it's all-
postage, it's how
yeah,
much, how much.
It's how much it's their time.
Through it.
Yeah.
But I would hope that that would be a small percentage of them, but it sounds like it's not.
It's not, no.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But a lot of people come in, after the first, or it's not super late, but we still do the late notices and it's.
Right, I think Tara and Hannah are trying to streamline this whole process.
It's just one of those things that we realize like, oh, this is a waste.
Right.
I like it.
All right, motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Amy's got,
Yeah. Any more discussion, Jamie?
Yeah, I was gonna second the motion. The only point of order that I want to make is I didn't know if we were supposed to do this as a sewer commission. Following this particular billing falls under the sewer or wastewater.
It does, but we handle all of their billing.
I understand that. I just
Fair
wanna-
enough.
and maybe we want
That's where it hits the gray area.
the sewer commission to look at the late fee process. That's just another option in the future.
All right, so just to make sure we do everything correctly, let's set up a sewer commission meeting for next Thursday night.
Wait, no,
We're here next Thursday for cannabis.
I was going to do it before the cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's do a sewer commission meeting at 6:30
Well,
Thursday night. And then it'll be strictly on that
That one item.
one item.
Okay.
Good point, Jamie. And then we'll just vote on it then, so,
Okay.
all right?
Okay, so the marijuana cultivation and retail discussion was just, I wanted to give you guys kind of a preemptive info on it before we have next week's meeting. You should decide if you want to, who you want to put in charge of the cannabis commission, or like a cannabis control board for the town. Because we should definitely have one. Because if we don't, the state only bases their information off of the applicant. So they have to go through the state for their permits for cultivation, for retail, for anything. If we don't have a board to communicate with them, they're gonna go straight to the applicant and get their information. So we really have no input. The other piece is you can either elect a government or a legislative body that is already existing to be your cannabis control commission, or you can do it yourselves, or you can create one. But that is a definite and absolutely should. And doing that doesn't mean we're opting into retail, but it gives us the commission to sort of look at how to go about those things. And the only other piece is, I know you had mentioned the tax piece. We can only really get a tax benefit right now from retail.
Okay.
And if you so choose to get into the retail, you have to opt in, and then there's, state agencies that you notify and things like that. The Cannabis Control Board specifically.
so if I understood that correctly, that means that if we put together our own board, well, let me start from the other side. If we don't put together our own board, it just falls under whatever the state says.
Right, the Cannabis Control Board at the state level would handle it.
Right, so if we want to have any local control on it, we need to have a board.
Exactly.
So, and that, I would be for that just to maintain the local control. I mean, if we do it and it doesn't turn out well, we have problems or unintended consequences, we want to have some control over it.
Right.
And not have to defer to the state.
Right.
And the same is true if it's going well, we want to reap the benefits.
I think,
Nice one.
the reason that Tara brought this up, we're gonna have that meeting next Thursday night with Planning Commission and DRB are both invited to that meeting next week, because ultimately it's gonna fall or could fall back, Planning Commission, DRB, whatever. So I thought we'd have a joint meeting, and that's all that'll be for. And we'll have, I think we're gonna have plenty of information to go through that night.
I'm gonna take all of the guidance that we have from municipalities, I'm gonna bullet point
Right.
and have it for everybody that night. But this was just something for you as a board to think about before we're in a room with the other two boards trying to make those decisions.
Perfect.
The gentleman behind you has his hand up.
You might want to check with the state because the state does have a cannabis board. I'm up to medical.
Yep, they're the Cannabis Control Board.
Yeah, and they will give you probably a slew of information into it.
Yep.
Then you can tailor it for our area.
Yes.
The grows, and then find out problems that growers are having as far as security and traffic and stuff like that. But just, it's something to go by and then tailor for our particular area.
Right.
If that's something to be considered, I don't know.
Definitely. Thank you. That's all I had for that, was just
Perfect. Town hall update.
yeah, I have more, definitely work to do on it, but.
Quick update from Tara, or from Eric, sorry, to Tara and myself. The engineer should have prints for the schoolhouse framing support next week to get to actually move the building. As everyone knows, the building has been prepped for move, other than the framing support. Prepping for the generator pad, installing the concrete tubes and conduits for the parking lights. Tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. Looks like the pours within the next 2 weeks. They're prepping the schoolhouse basement for concrete tomorrow, pour that within the next 2 weeks, which is here on site, not at the old building. Prepping the bank on the upper driveway for the stairs in the next 2 weeks, which is, we're gonna install a set of concrete stairs coming from the carriage barn road down the bank to, if we have an influx of people at a meeting and then we don't have enough parking or whatever, that carriage barn road is gonna get paved this summer. And rather than people coming down the grass and slipping and creating a liability, set of concrete stairs coming down that bank up there was kind of what we thought. Our excavation guy is shaping up the grades in the parking lots. We're installing the remainder of the drainage pipes. The underground propane tank was installed on Monday. As I said, the schoolhouse interior, exterior demolition was done last week, including removing the chimney and cutting the beam pockets in the concrete. Meeting with the building mover on Monday. The tree company, utility companies are ready to schedule when we finalize the move date. And that's going to, at that point, we're probably gonna do a little bit of maintenance on the road out here that goes through this parking lot out to Route 7, because once we start moving that building, we have to have the residents on this street or fire emergency vehicle access in and out. So it'll be a little bit of maintenance out here on this section, just to make sure that we can get ambulances or fire trucks or whatever we need to, or if, God forbid, you have to evacuate people. If we have the schoolhouse in the middle of Center Street, how are we getting people out of there? So, it's not a 4-minute move. So, there's a lot of moving parts. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of moving parts, but, Eric's been phenomenal in coordinating the moving parts, on this project so far.
Do we have anybody that's volunteered or lined up to like video or time lapse
I'm
this?
sure, what's his name though?
I'm sure Carl.
Carl, thank you.
Villanueva will be, he's put up some pictures of,
He had his drone and everything.
yeah, of the schoolhouse demolition, which was.
I just thought it'd be cool to see like a time lapse of that thing coming down the road.
That would be. I'll definitely be out there. I'll record it and time lapse it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Great idea.
We should probably reach out to Carl and make sure that he's aware and knows, and find out what his plans are.
Right, because he's been fantastic on this,
Really has.
on this whole process, and thank you, Carl, for that. I don't think anybody's ever, I know I never have.
I've been thanking him.
Yeah, but, honestly.
All those are all from Carl?
Yeah, honestly, I think that, the board, as a board, we should thank Carl for what he's doing, because it's kind of cool. It's a huge part of history, obviously, 100 years from now or whatever, it's, people can look back and kind of a neat thing. I know you have some stuff on the town hall.
Just an update on the old town hall. Hannah and I are gonna research some different lease agreements and, that kind of stuff before we move forward and anything. And then we'll probably have to do maybe a mold study or a mildew, whatever we want to call it, some kind of study just to make sure that it is, usable space, and so I'll update you on that when I have it. The only other thing is IT services. I met with two companies. And they both provided prices. We had Suzer IT and, I met with Robert Stewart. Well, it's RCS Consulting Inc. Both great companies, both have, great accolades from the places that I called to research them. And their prices are pretty similar, but I think for ease of access and the most streamlined approach would be to go with Suzer IT, because we can use all of our equipment that we currently have. We can stay with Outlook and the OneDrive like we've been using, and it's just a simpler approach. That's my opinion. We have prices here if you want to see them, but like I said, the pricing is very similar.
I'm definitely not the IT guy. But my opinion is to move forward with Tara's recommendation. She's put a lot of time and effort into this. She's contacted people, she sat down with them and worked diligently with them, and I believe Hannah's been involved in that as well. So if that's their recommendation, I think that's where we need to go.
Second that.
Any more discussion, questions? Angie?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Anything else on town hall?
Nope, that was it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Good.
I'm sorry. I had it's a question. It shouldn't change anything. But I know that in a previous meeting, we talked about the floorboards, the floor in there running parallel to the joists. I don't know, what was the resolution to that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, Bob, and I know I was actually in there with Eric. I think we decided we were gonna try to keep that floor that's in there. And I think they decided they can move it with that floor that's in place. And then places like where the chimney were or whatever, there was enough floor in some closet space that wasn't gonna be used or whatever, that we can patch the floor in with. So.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I really like the floor over there.
Right.
And that's part of why we chose it, right?
Right.
It would be really nice to have it rustic
I
as you
think
walk
that's-
into
yeah.
it.
I believe that floor, the original floor in the building is staying as it is. Obviously, I'm sure it'll be refinished and taken care of at that point, but the floor, I believe, unless I'm totally missed something with Eric, I believe it's staying there, so.
Okay. That's all. I just had to.
No, that's fine. We're still on town hall. We haven't moved yet, so. Anybody else have anything on the town hall, on the move or anything? Perfect. We need to go into executive session for, personnel and employee review.
So moved.
Second.
We will take action after. So, any more discussion on that? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, and we will be back.
Know how to do that? No. So put everybody in the waiting room.
Should only be 2 to put in the waiting room, right? Or 3.
I don't know, before there was like 10 people on there.
I only see two citizens, and then everybody else is me, Tara, Town of Pownell.
Yeah.
Cat TV has to go. It has to be put in the waiting room.
Yeah, save Bob and I and Tara.
Were they able to save any of the material out of the town hall or the schoolhouse? I saw the big pile of stuff on the table.